According to the data from the International Monetary Fund as of October 2023, the United States leads with a GDP of $26.95 trillion, expecting an annual growth of 2%. China is ranked second with a GDP of $17.70 trillion, achieving a 5.0% GDP growth rate. Germany's GDP has reached $4.43 trillion, rising to third place, surpassing Japan. Japan ranks fourth with a GDP of $4.23 trillion. The GDP rankings of Russia, Australia, and Canada are declining, while the rankings of Italy, Brazil, and Mexico are rising. India's economy continues to rise and maintains the highest GDP growth rate globally. The top 15 countries in global GDP are Spain, $1.58 trillion. Australia, $1.69 trillion. South Korea, $1.71 trillion. Mexico, $1.81 trillion. Russia, $1.86 trillion. Canada, $2.12 trillion. Brazil, $2.13 trillion. Italy, $2.19 trillion. France, $3.05 trillion. United Kingdom, $3.33 trillion. India, $3.73 trillion. Japan, $4.23 trillion. Germany, $4.43 trillion. China, $17.70 trillion. United States, $26.95 trillion. Japan's GDP was surpassed by China in 2011. Since then, the gap between Japan and China's GDP has gradually widened, with Japan's GDP now less than a quarter of China's. However, Japan has consistently held the third position in global GDP rankings. This year, Japan was overtaken by Germany, which now ranks third in the world, only behind the United States and China. In fact, Japan's GDP is expected to grow by 2% in 2023, reaching $4.23 trillion. Despite an expected 0.5% contraction, Germany's GDP is projected to reach $4.43 trillion, higher than Japan's. The main reason for Germany's GDP surpassing Japan's may be due to the Russia-Ukraine war causing an increase in energy prices in Germany, leading to increased public spending. On the other hand, the devaluation of the Japanese yen has led to a decrease in Japan's GDP value in dollar terms. Although Germany's GDP has surpassed Japan's, the gap between them is not large. Apart from Japan, the GDP rankings of Russia, Canada, and Australia have also declined. In the first half of this year, Russia's GDP was surpassed by Canada, Brazil, and Italy due to Western economic sanctions and the devaluation of the ruble, sliding from the 8th to the 11th position globally. Nevertheless, Russia still achieved a 2.2% economic growth rate in 2023. Despite achieving a 1.8% economic growth rate, Australia's GDP ranking fell from the 12th to the 14th position due to the exchange rate impact of the Australian dollar against the US dollar. Canada's GDP ranking also fell from the 9th to the 10th position. The changes in the GDP rankings of Brazil, Mexico, and Italy are impressive. Italy's GDP ranking rose from the 10th to the 8th position. Brazil's GDP, growing at 3.1%, moved from the 11th to the 9th position. Its GDP of $2.13 trillion is now very close to Italy's $2.19 trillion. Mexico also achieved a 3.2% economic growth rate. With a GDP of $1.81 trillion, Mexico rose from the 14th to the 12th position. South Korea's GDP is expected to reach $1.71 trillion in 2023, with a growth rate of 1.4%, maintaining its 13th position. It appears challenging for South Korea's GDP to re-enter the global top 10. In terms of GDP growth rate, Spain is expected to achieve a 2.5% growth rate, ranking fifth among the top 15 global economies. Brazil ranks fourth globally with a 3.1% growth rate, while Mexico's GDP growth rate is expected to reach 3.2%, ranking third. As the world's second largest economy, China will rank second globally with a 5.0% economic growth rate. India maintains the highest GDP growth rate globally, with an impressive 6.3% expected in 2023. With an economic size of $3.73 trillion, India continues to rank fifth globally in GDP. In numerical terms, the global economic landscape in 2023 has not changed significantly. The GDPs of the United States and China remain far ahead. The GDPs of Germany and Japan, ranking third and fourth, are only about a quarter of China's and about 16% of the United States. India, ranking fifth, has a GDP that is about a fifth of China's and about 14% of the United States. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content. Thank you for watching.